Waking up in a world where you never have to worry about charging your phone, plugging in your car, or even stopping at a fuel station ever again. Imagine a world where batteries power themselves endlessly, drawing energy from the environment, staying alive almost like living things, without the constant need to recharge. That may sound like science fiction, but in 2025 it's shaping up to be one of the most disruptive realities in technology, and it's being led by China. This year, China officially announced that it will not only commercialize its groundbreaking self-powered battery technology, but also establish factories in the United States to produce these revolutionary energy units on American soil. This is more than just a business expansion. This is geopolitics, economics, science, and the future of global energy all tied together in one of the boldest moves we've seen in modern industrial history. So what exactly is going on here? Why is China making such a powerful announcement? And what does it mean for the United States, for American companies, for everyday consumers, and for the entire world? Let's dive deep into this story, because it is not only about a new battery. It is about power, literally and figuratively. First, let's talk about what a self-powered battery even is. Traditional lithium-ion batteries, the kind used in most electric cars, smartphones, laptops, and even airplanes, rely on charging infrastructure. You plug in your device, electricity flows from the grid into the battery, chemical reactions happen inside the cell, and that stored energy can be used later. But eventually, it runs out, and you repeat the cycle. That has been the reality of portable energy storage for decades. But self-powered batteries promise something completely different. Instead of needing to be charged, they harvest energy from their environment. Some versions pull energy from vibrations, movement, thermal differences, light, or even radio frequency signals in the air. Imagine a car that recharges itself just by moving, or a phone that never dies because it's always sipping energy from its surroundings. That's what China is promising, and the world is listening. Now, China announcing that it has developed a new energy breakthrough is not surprising in itself. The country has been pouring billions of dollars into clean energy research, EV development, and next-generation batteries for years. But what has shocked analysts is the second part of the announcement, that China will build factories in the United States specifically to manufacture these self-powered batteries. Think about the symbolism of that. For years, the US and China have been competing fiercely in technology, in semiconductors, in AI, in renewable energy. Washington has been wary of Chinese companies setting up too much influence on American soil. Yet here comes Beijing with a plan not only to sell its technology to the world, but to build it inside the United States, employing American workers, setting up American supply chains, and essentially placing the future of US energy storage partially in Chinese hands. Why would China do this? The official explanation is simple: global demand. The United States is one of the largest markets for electric vehicles, renewable energy systems, and consumer electronics. By producing inside the US, China can avoid tariffs, reduce shipping costs, and secure a major foothold in the American market. But the unofficial explanation is deeper. It's about influence. By physically embedding its factories into the American economy, China ensures that its breakthrough technology cannot be ignored or walled off. It forces collaboration, even in a climate of competition. From the American perspective, this move is complicated. On the one hand, access to self-powered batteries could transform industries overnight. Imagine Tesla cars with batteries that never need to be plugged in, or Apple devices that never come with a charging cable again. Imagine the US military adopting drones that can fly indefinitely without stopping. The possibilities are endless, and if China can really deliver, it would be foolish to turn away. On the other hand, there are national security concerns. If the core of the future's energy infrastructure is designed, built, and controlled by a rival superpower, that creates vulnerabilities. Who owns the patents?
Who controls the supply chain?
What happens if political tensions rise? Those questions will dominate Washington debates in the months and years to come. But beyond the politics, let's imagine what this actually means for everyday people. Let's say by 2026 or 2027, cars start rolling out of showrooms equipped with Chinese-designed self-powered batteries. The first thing you'd notice is freedom. No more waiting at superchargers. No more planning long trips around charging stations. Road trips become limitless. For phone users, it means never worrying about a dead battery again, never. Carrying power banks or chargers. For entire cities, It means being able to deploy sensors, drones, and smart devices everywhere without worrying about powering them. Agriculture could benefit from autonomous machines that work endlessly in the field. Medical devices could become safer, never running out of power during critical moments.
The implications touch almost every aspect of modern life.
And here's the most dramatic part. This technology could dismantle the fossil fuel industry faster than expected. One of the last strongholds of oil and gas is transportation. Cars, trucks, airplanes. These require dense, portable energy. If self-powered batteries can actually scale, that last stronghold could collapse. It won't happen overnight, of course. Energy transitions are slow, but the writing on the wall would be clear. Now let's zoom out for a moment. Think about the timing. Why 2025? It's not a random year. China has had a roadmap for energy dominance for a long time, often tied to its 5-year plans. By 2025, Beijing wants to position itself as the global leader not just in manufacturing, but in the technologies of the future. Batteries, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and clean energy are all strategic industries. Announcing this breakthrough in 2025 fits perfectly with that roadmap. It sends a message: China is not just following the world's innovations, it is leading them. But what about the science itself? Is this real, or is it hype?
That is the million-dollar question.
Skeptics point out that self-powered batteries have been discussed in research labs for years. Prototypes exist that can harvest tiny amounts of energy, enough to power sensors or low-power devices, but scaling that up to power a car or a home is extremely difficult. It requires breakthroughs in nanotechnology, in material science, and in energy conversion. Yet, if any country could achieve it at scale, it might be China, given the resources it has poured into this sector. The government has backed massive state-led research projects, and Chinese scientists have been publishing a growing number of papers on advanced energy harvesting. Some insiders say that China may have discovered a new composite material or an entirely new mechanism for energy conversion that makes this possible. If true, it's not just incremental progress. It's a leap. From a business perspective, the announcement is already shaking things up. Stock prices of Chinese energy firms surged when the news broke. American EV makers immediately began scrambling to issue statements, either cautiously welcoming the idea or raising concerns about dependence on foreign tech. European car companies are watching closely too, because if the US allows these factories, it could set off a domino effect where similar plants open in Germany, France, or the UK. No one wants to be left behind in the energy race. Now picture the boardrooms of Silicon Valley. Imagine Apple executives discussing whether to adopt Chinese self-powered batteries in their next iPhone, or whether to wait for an American alternative. Imagine Elon Musk sitting in a Tesla strategy meeting, weighing the risks of working with a Chinese supplier versus the benefits of making his cars virtually infinite in range. These are the kinds of decisions that could define the next decade. And let's not forget the consumer psychology.
People love convenience.
We put up with a lot when it comes to technology. Charging, cables, slow charging times, battery degradation. But if you suddenly tell people those problems are gone forever, adoption will skyrocket. The marketing writes itself: never charge again. That's not just a product upgrade.
That is sa révolution.
But revolutions come with disruptions. Think about entire industries built around charging. Charging station companies, cable manufacturers, even power utilities that make money from EV charging infrastructure. All of these could be wiped out. What happens to those investments? What happens to the billions already spent on building charging networks across the US and Europe? They could become obsolete faster than expected. It's like building telephone poles everywhere and then suddenly inventing wireless communication. The infrastructure becomes useless overnight. At the same time, this will trigger a new arms race. If China has figured it out, the US and Europe will pour unimaginable sums into catching up. Universities, labs, private companies, they will all rush to claim their piece of the self-powered future. And that competition could actually accelerate progress for everyone.
So here we are, standing at the edge of something massive.
China is not just selling a product. It's rewriting the rules of global technology competition. By setting up factories in the US, it's making sure its technology cannot be isolated. By announcing it in 2025, it's staking its claim as the leader of the future. And by promising self-powered batteries, it's offering Something that could change the way humans live every single day.